This is Joshy Blogs. Over the course of 15 days, I challenged myself to beat this game, and I couldn't beat it in 15 days. Over the course of those 15 days, I must have played this game for like 100 hours, maybe less, but a lot of hours, maybe 100, maybe more, maybe less. It's a challenging puzzle game. I didn't look up any walkthroughs, and this is my review, by the way. This is my PS4 review of the Relicta. I managed to beat the main game, and I also managed to beat one of the DLCs, the Ice Queen game, which had both had pretty good stories in it that I enjoyed. There's also this Azure Gig game, which I failed to complete within the 15-day window, and PlayStation Now is about to expire, so I won't get to finish it. Azure Gig is mostly just puzzles, in the same vein as the game itself and the other DLC, Ice Queen. It's all mostly puzzles, but there's a really cool science fiction story. So let's have a look at a little bit of it. So you're on this planet where you've made this scientific discovery. You and this team of scientists working for this interstellar corporation, and you're studying this thing, and you're keeping it secret, so not even the corporation knows exactly what it is you've discovered here. Eventually, something goes terribly wrong.
Security breach. This is not a drill. Security breach. This is
you see this hold circle to skip here? I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything to make it say hold circle to skip. It's just gonna say hold circle to skip on every single opening. As you can see, it's a pretty dramatic beginning. Very exciting start. It's a flash forward. So in the beginning, everything's going wrong.
I'm going in.
And they just constantly have this message to hold circle to skip. I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna hold circle and skip. And so every time that you get to a cinema, every time you get to a cinema, it tells you hold circle to skip, which is really annoying. And so it's like throughout the whole game, every single cinema, it says hold circle to skip for the entire time, right up to the ending. So even during the ending of the game itself, it's going to be telling you hold circle to skip, hold circle to skip. So here it is, the Relicta, and we're going to do our thing. And watch, here's the cinema, hold circle to skip.
Emergency lockdown. Countermeasure.
Now, if you have the option of playing it on a different system other than the PS4, like Xbox or PC, that might be preferable, because you won't get that hold circle to skip glitch that will be there constantly during every single cinema, which for me kind of takes me out of the story. And so I find that a real terrible annoyance, and then that's there. I've looked at some videos of it, and I've seen that it's there in the PS5. The terrible thing has happened, and we're flashing back when everything was peaceful, before the calamity occurs. And so you're just walking around doing these scientific experiments that are puzzles.
Okay, we'll start with some easy tests. Let's see if I can mess with the laws of physics and move some of those test boxes.
So yeah, you can hear the main character walking around and talking, and that's basically all you do, is walk around and talk. And you talk to other characters. You never meet any other characters. It's a walking simulator, you know, basically puzzle game. Sadly, you spend a whole lot of time talking to other NPCs and involved in their lives and trying to rescue them and stuff like that, but you never actually get to see them at all, which is pretty disappointing. But as the game goes along, you start to expect it. So yeah, it's just these puzzles with the gloves, and as you move along, they get more and more complicated. And eventually they get to be really powerfully complex puzzles. um, where where it's it's just incredibly complex solutions as you move along. And
On to the next one.
actually, they're not as hard as they look. But some of them are really, really hard. And finally, I found a puzzle in the Ager gig that stumped me, and I decided that it was just time to like give up and write my review because it was about time. If I had more time, I think I would have beaten it eventually. I refused to look at a walkthrough just because I like the puzzle so much.
The teleport devices.
I'll show you one of the complicated puzzles now. I'll keep telling you about the game. So the story is great. It's dramatic. It's high stakes. Great characters. Great. Yeah, I'd say great, but not better than great. The story's good and it enhances the game, and I personally I found it very endearing and cool. It has its moments that are a little bit like cringe, but I think in a fun way. I think you'll enjoy the game, especially if you enjoy the puzzles. That's the main appeal, though, is the puzzles. Oh shit! I hit the wrong button just now. All right, so then we're gonna have to do a loading screen, but yeah, I definitely would say that this game is puzzles. You complete a complex short bit of story followed by more puzzles, and the story is almost non-existent in some places. It's just puzzles followed by puzzles followed by puzzles. And at first the auto-saving is really good, so after you solve a simple group of puzzles, it'll just auto-save, and you'll see when it's saving, and you'll be able to quit out when you want to. But then eventually when you get to some of the larger puzzles, it could take you like a really long time to finish, and you'll get through like 2/3 of the puzzle, and you'll just be exhausted, and you'll want to quit, but you can't because it hasn't it doesn't save until you complete the entire gigantic puzzle. And yeah, so it gets to be a little hectic like that. I love this game, especially on the puzzles. I have like a lot of complaints, including like sloppy stuff, like the glitch where it's like it says hold circle to skip on every cinema throughout the entire game. Okay, I'm trying to go to extras. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna show you one of the big puzzles. Ager gig continue. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a massive endeavor trying to get through all the puzzles of this game. I ultimately couldn't finish on time, and PlayStation Now is about to expire, so I won't see this game for at least a little while longer. I'm considering buying it though. It's a great game. I've played so much of it now that it doesn't feel worth it, but I would definitely give this game a very, very positive rating on the strength of the puzzles. I played a lot of games like this. I played like the Turing Effect and all those games like Volume, all those like puzzle games, the first-person physics-based puzzle games. I'm blanking on the names of some of them, but I played a lot of these games, where it's just running around completing puzzles. And of all of them, this game is sort of like the most lackluster in some ways, but at the same time, oh yeah, I've solved this one already, but I could do this one again. You can see it's just like overwhelming when you look around and you're like, what the heck am I supposed to do here? How can I possibly do anything? I've got force fields all around me. I've got nowhere to go. And somehow you come up with something that will get you through to the next part. And it just feels great when you do. This is one of those massive puzzles that like nearly stumped me. And another one similar to this did stump me. So this is the DLC, and it has puzzles that are, I guess as hard or harder than the end game puzzles. So they're pretty brutal. I would just say it's just a really great feeling when you manage to complete these puzzles and figure out how to get through and do what you need to do to win. How did I get through this one? I can't even remember. I did get through this puzzle at some point. I can't remember how I did it. Oh right, yes. This. So it's like you can control the movement of these spheres. You can control their gravity, and you can repel them away from each other, or attract them to each other. If two things are red, then they repel, and if one is red and one is blue, they attract each other. It's a bit, it's a bit complex, and you sort of feel it out as you go, and it feels really great to solve these puzzles, just because it's like feels like such a mental challenge, and yeah, so I strongly recommend it. So I have to get this block out of this area here, and there you go. I don't want to show you too much. I feel like it's sort of spoilers, but okay, yeah, now I can drop it down and grab it, and then when I mark this block with a letter, I can then go outside. How do I get out of this? I can then go outside if I can figure out how to go outside. And like green force fields, objects can go through. Purple force fields, I can pass through, but objects can't. And then objects with letters on them, squares with letters on them, you can teleport to from certain areas, from certain teleporters. And so now I've successfully retrieved the Q block, and I've also retrieved this block that I call the Oi block, because that's OI on it. Yeah, so it's like that, and I've just accomplished a very tiny portion of the puzzle by getting these two blocks out, and they'll allow me to move a little bit deeper into the puzzle if you can figure out what to do next. And so yeah, it's just a really cool game, and a really great feeling when you manage to solve these giant puzzles. And if you watch the videos that I've made, you can see how happy I am when I finally beat some of them, and how miserable I am throughout while I'm trying to get through, and like banging my head against the wall, trying to figure out what to do next. It's a great feeling. I highly recommend it. There's lots of flaws in the game. Like, I feel like the story is great, but it's a little bit sparse, and I felt like the story could have been stronger, I could have gotten, the stakes could have felt higher to me if I gotten to know the characters a little bit better. The setting feels a bit bare bones. You never get to actually see the people. I mean, I feel like that's partially like because it's sort of an indie game, and it doesn't have the budget of larger games. So like ultimately, I think they would have liked to put people in and stuff like that, or multiplayer or whatever. But ultimately, it had to be as small as it is, and for what it is, it's fucking amazing. And especially just these gigantic puzzles and solving them, it's just an extraordinary feeling. When you figure out what you have to do to get through like a little section, and then another little section, and another little section, and just this spectacular feeling when you're done, and you've done it, and you can actually move through and beat the level. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this game a 10 out of 10 on the strength of the puzzles, despite the many flaws, and the platforming is weak in this game. It's not great. And the what am I doing wrong? Oh right, it's not floating. And it can get frustrating at times, and the controls can be finicky and difficult, and I get really frustrated with sometimes. When you manage to get the thing done right, it just feels so good. And just on the strength of that, on the strength of the puzzles, and how tricky they are, it's just such a spectacular feeling. And on that, I would say, you know, if you like these kind of puzzle platforming games, or you think you might like them, this is like an extraordinary one to try to experience, and to just like take in this massive, ridiculous puzzle, and that seems impossible, and realize that you can actually do it just by taking it like one step at a time, and finding something to fidget around with. And the next thing you know, you solved it, you know? And it's like, wow. How did I do that? You wind up thinking to yourself, you know? So yeah, I definitely recommend this game, and yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. And the story is not bad. The voice acting is good, and I really enjoyed it. And it did enhance the game for me, even though it wasn't, you know, it's not like the most epic story, and it didn't. You know, it felt like I felt like it could have been stronger in the story department, in terms of, like, you know, they could have had more there between levels. Sometimes between levels there'll be just like a tiny amount of talking and stuff like that. I just feel like, oh really, there's no story at all for me after I completed that huge puzzle, and now you're just throwing me straight into another puzzle. But ultimately, I just love that feeling that I got from beating puzzle after puzzle, and it just felt so good, you know. So I think it's a great thing, and worth doing. Yeah, so that's it. It's on the strength of the puzzles, I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it. This really interesting, like, science fiction story in it also, but I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil too much, so I won't. He was supposed to grab that box, but I put it in the wrong place. It's not supposed to be flying. Ah well. So that's it. Yeah, there we go. What's this game called? Relicta. 10 out of 10. Check it out. Highly recommend it. It's on PlayStation Now right now, so you can play it for free with PlayStation Now, or purchase it. It's a 10 out of 10 game. Yes, go play it, and I will see y'all next time. And that's even with that stupid thing, that stupid hold circle. Like that really annoyed me, that the hold circle to skip thing. Like I like hated that thing, but ultimately the game really won me over. So yeah, Relicta, 10 out of 10. Go check it out. I will see y'all next time. Yeah. Now what?